In this video, I'm going to firstly show you how to bridge two network interfaces in Ubuntu 22.04, and secondly, how we can use Zenarmor to inspect and filter traffic traversing the bridge by configuring Zenarmor in a layer 2 bridge mode. By the end of this video, you'll not only know how to create network bridges, but you'll also have the knowledge how to use Zenarmor as a secure web gateway or SWG, which is an important and versatile deployment option for MSPs and businesses, or anyone else for that matter who doesn't want to or is unable to deploy Zenarmor on OPNSense, but still wants to benefit from the next generation firewall capabilities that Zenarmor has to offer. Let's get started. Before we continue, I just want to say thanks to this video's sponsor, Zenarmor. If you're looking for a very capable next-generation firewall solution with plenty of versatile deployment options, world-class threat intelligence, and easy to manage, go check out their website and previous videos that I've created showcasing this product. No matter if you're a MSP, enterprise, small business, or a home user, Zenarmor can offer almost instant security enhancements wherever you need it, in the cloud or on-prem. So why would you consider a layer 2 bridge mode instead of a layer 3 routed mode for your Zenarmor deployment? You probably came to know about Zenarmor through the OPNSense firewall project available as a next generation firewall plugin. When installing Zenarmor using the plugin on OPNSense, the deployment mode will default to layer 3 routed mode because this allows you to benefit from both Zenarmor and OPNSense services like routing, filtering, VPNs, proxies, and so on, which in most cases why people deploy OPNSense anyway. Now, this is an excellent way of creating a solid security barrier for your network, but what if you don't want to use OPNSense and you still want to benefit from Zenarmor? Perhaps you are already happy with your current router setup and you don't want to replace it with OPNSense or add OPNSense to your network, creating a double NAT scenario. Maybe you simply don't have extra hardware laying around to build an OPNSense firewall. Perhaps your requirements are to protect your cloud infrastructure using Zenarmor and simply need a transparent, secure gateway solution. Regardless of the reason, Zenarmor deployed in layer 2 bridge mode gives you all the great benefits of Zenarmor, such as filtering, blocking, reporting, without needing OPNSense or being tied to one platform. The choice is entirely yours. So how do we create a network bridge in Ubuntu 22.04. For this tutorial, I've set up a fresh copy of Ubuntu Server 22.04. Installed in the server are two network adapters, one plugged into the LAN and the other plugged into the existing router connected to the ISP network. This router provides IP addresses to the LAN devices using DHCP by default. Just as a side note, you will need a means to directly access your Ubuntu Server command line interface. So if you're using VMware or VirtualBox or Hyper-V, you can access the interface directly using the built-in tools provided. If you're accessing your machine using SSH and you make changes to the Netplan config, you can potentially lock yourself out of your server, so please do keep that in mind. Also, another tip, if you're using any of the previously mentioned hypervisors, you need to enable promiscuous mode on all your network interfaces if you're running into network issues after you create your bridge. This should sort things out for you. For this lab, I've chosen to configure a third management network interface on my server that we will be excluding from the bridge so that we won't run into any of those sort of issues. There are various methods that you can use to create network bridges in Ubuntu. However, for this tutorial, I've chosen to use Netplan, which is a utility that easily allows you to configure networking on Linux systems by simply using a YAML config to describe how the network settings need to be. Netplan by default creates this configuration YAML file in the etc netplan directory, and in my case it was named 00-installer-config.yaml. To make changes to this YAML configuration, we're going to use the nano text editor. It's my preferred one. However, you can also use Vim if you prefer. So we're going to then type sudo nano, and we are going to then go into that YAML config, supply the password, And by default, your YAML config should look something similar to this. You'll see in my case, I have 3 interfaces configured on the server. The first one being the interface which is connected to the WAN and the ISP. The second one being the interface that's connected to my LAN switch. And then the third, as I mentioned earlier, is a management interface, which I have configured so I can then use SSH to be able to access this machine without dropping my connection once the bridge has been created. So to create the bridge interface, we're simply just going to modify this config. I will put this into the description below, but just for the sake of saving time and not having to type this out, I've just copied it in here. So what we've done is we've now added bridges to our interfaces, and we've given the bridge a name of BR0, and we've enabled DHCP4 on it. And then we've just included the 2 interfaces, the one from the LAN and the one from the WAN above under the bridge interfaces. The last bit of the config that we need to change here is we just need to make sure that DHCP is disabled on the other interfaces that are part of the bridge. So we'll change this to false. And then we will hit Control X and save. And we'll write the file. So the next step is we need to apply that new configuration. So we'll simply type in sudo netplan apply, and we'll hit enter. And then the configuration will be applied. Just to confirm that everything is in order, if we type in IP add, we can then look at all the interfaces that we have configured on our network. And if you look at this number 5 entry over here, you'll see that BR0 has been created, and it's been assigned an IP address from our DHCP server that is supplied on the ISP router. We should also now be able to ping anything on the internet, and we confirm that the ping does work. If this is configured correctly, then your devices on your LAN should now also have internet connectivity via the bridge to the internet. So now that you have your network set up, let's continue with the quick and easy part, and let's install Zenarmor. So first, you're going to need to run the following command, and then this will automatically install Zenarmor on our server for us. While Zenarmor is being installed on your server, you can go to dash.zenarmor.com/login, and you can set up a free account for yourself if you haven't already done so. Then so you can access the Zen console dashboard. We'll be using it in the next step to finalize our configuration of Zenarmor. So once your Zenarmor is installed, we then need to register with our cloud instance. So in order to do that, we're simply just going to be typing in sudo zenarmorctl cloud register. We hit enter, and then you'll simply follow the prompts over here, but you're going to then be entering your cloud portal email address, the one that you use to sign up to Zen console or Zenarmor with, and the password. And you'll simply hit enter, and your Zenarmor instance will be registered with the cloud. So off camera, I quickly just registered my Zenarmor installation with a cloud. Once you register with a cloud, you should see something that looks like this, where it'll just say congratulations and that you've successfully registered. Okay, so when you log into Zen console, you'll see that your new firewall that you've just registered will be available there. It will just call itself node 1. Over here, you'll give it a name. I'll just call it lab SWG. Then you can choose your reporting database that you would like to use. For this lab, we'll just use SQLite. However, you can link your Zenarmor installation up to Elasticsearch databases. That's generally going to be preferred for production environments or large deployments. It'll be much more stable. So the choice is yours there, but we're just going to stick with SQLite for this instance. And then over here, we'll select our deployment mode. So we're going to select bridge mode layer 2. And from there on, we can just leave the number of devices behind the firewall as default. And then we just need to choose the 2 bridged interfaces that we configured in Ubuntu. So from there, we'll select these 2. And then the 1 is connected to the WAN. So in my case, ENPOS3 was the WAN interface. We'll select that as the security zone. And then 8 is the one connected to the LAN, and we'll select that. And then once you've done that, you simply click Add Firewall, and the configuration will continue from there. So once your installation is completed, you'll be directed to this very nice looking dashboard, and you'll have an overview of your firewall. And from then you're ready to get going. You can configure your policies or anything else that you need to do on this firewall. And it's really that simple, just to deploy Zenarmor on Ubuntu or any other Linux-based operating system for that matter. So that's all that I want to show you today. You should now be able to deploy Zenarmor in a layer 2 bridge mode easily. If you're interested in learning more about Zenarmor or interested how to install it via the plugin in OPNSense, I've linked some videos in the description to help you with that. If you've enjoyed this content and found it helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Your support is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers for now.